I'm your host, Ken LeBlanc, and this is the podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate. We share stories from the front lines with professionals, entrepreneurs, and franchisees alike. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned veteran, we've got something for you. So buckle up. We're about to get revved up on real estate. My guest today is Christoph Braier. Christoph's from Canmore, Alberta, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But Christoph's been a longtime franchisee, celebrating 10 years. We're going to have a special event here for him at home office. So we're looking forward to that, Christoph. He's a multi-award-winning franchisee. You see his trophies behind him there. Multi-REVVED award winner, franchise location of the year, franchise person of the year, numerous nominations for top performers, etc., revenue, all the above. And also a very prestigious award that you won a few years ago from the Canadian Franchise Association, Franchisee of the Year. It's their top award in all of Canadian franchising. So welcome, Christoph. And most importantly, I'm sure I missed a few things, became a Canadian citizen in 2015. Pretty cool. So welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Let's hear your story. Why don't you share with us? How did you come from Germany into Canada? Why Canmore? Why real estate? Let's hear the background on this.
Sure. I'm happy to share the story. You want to have the long story? Do we have enough time?
We have all the time in the world, my friend. You can complete it from day one. Back when you were a little boy. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go back to the little boy. 16 years old, my first visit to North America, basically visiting friends and family in the U.S. Since then, I've spent 35 vacations flying from Germany to the US and Canada, and it was always in my mind, is this a place to live and work and raise a family, or is this basically a place to go for 4 weeks of vacation, visiting all the states and all the provinces? And my saying is, you always have excuses not to do it, and then you have a family, you have a business, you're successful, parents, blah, 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 all the good stuff. So excuses not to do the big step. And finally, with a wife and 2 kids, there was this one scenario saying, okay, if we do it, let's do it now, or we need to wait until the kids are basically out of school, and then they wouldn't probably come with us. Right. So I said, okay, let's start the process. Where do we want to go? So we bought a globe. Where do we want to go? That's the story. And we picked the usual 4 countries where people would immigrate to. That's Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Canada. So we've been in Australia, we've been in New Zealand. It's different. It's far away from Germany. And so we deleted those. And okay, US, I have a ton of relatives over there. My wife has a ton of relatives, so that would be the easiest way. But then we didn't like the political system. We didn't like the health system, school system. So there were some questions. And then we said, okay, Canada, what's Canada? Well, let's go. Let's fly over. Let's have a look. Drove around, spent vacation time. And then we basically ended up narrowing it down into a smaller area, Western Canada, everything west of Calgary to Vancouver. Did a tour, 6 weeks, checked it out, basically drove by Canmore. We saw the sign. So like most international tourists, they go to Banff and then they go to the airport or vice versa, and they don't stop in Canmore. And then next time we stopped in Canmore, said, this is pretty neat, this is nice. So we walked the streets, we looked for jobs and all the good stuff, and basically we said, okay, this is what it is. So we rented a house coming to Canmore in spring of 2010, rented a house. It was vacant at the time. And then they left it vacant. So we flew back home. We left all the luggage here in storage. Flew home, back to Germany, shut everything down. And last day of school, off to Canada, 6 pieces of luggage. And showed up at our house, vacant, empty, no furniture, moved in. Here we are. All the rest is history.
Wow. So when you say shut it down in Germany, were you working? Do you have your own business? What did you shut down and come to Canada for?
Well, we had a business, real estate business. I was a developer. I'm an architect by trade in Germany. Birgit, my wife, is an architect by trade. We had our own business, building houses, selling real estate. That's what we did for 25 years. So it was at some point in time a very good and lucrative operation with many 20 plus people employed. So it was a pretty good business, basically developing real estate and selling.
Is the entrepreneurship structure the same in Germany in regards to setting up a business and running that and being self-employed as it would be in Canada, or is it?
I would say it's similar, yes.
Very
Pretty similar, yeah.
So you settled on Canmore, you drove by it the first time, stopped the second time. Did you get to the east coast of Canada, or do you think Toronto was the east coast of Canada?
No, we've been in the east coast of Canada way earlier in the process. Once, checked it out, Cape Breton, all those good areas. But it didn't appeal that much. It was kind of too European.
Okay.
So mountains were more appealing, and that's where we ended up in Canada.
That's what drove you. The mountains were calling, as they say.
The mountains are calling, yes.
You brought some real estate experience into Canmore. Is that where you started when you first planted your 2 feet into that town?
Well, yes and no. So I started in Canmore as I would call it a condominium property manager, managing units. In Canmore, there's only 2 property management companies. I had about 500 units to be managed in Canmore. So it's basically not the unit itself, it's more like the building to be managed. Okay. That's what I did. Yeah.
And obviously that led to your, I guess, finding of Property Guys. Why don't you tell us that story on how you came across the propertyguys.com opportunity in Canmore? I know at the time there was already a franchisee in town. And that didn't stop you. Let's hear that story.
Yes, the story is actually funny. So when in Germany doing that business, you need a license to do that business, similar to Canada. So I had a real estate license. Actually, it's lifelong, so you don't have to renew it. I still have it. That's nice. Yeah. Anyways, so I looked into this, getting my license here in Alberta, and I thought about doing it. But at the time, we had 98 agents in Canmore. So I said, well, why would I be the 99th agent in Canmore providing the same service for the same cost everybody else is doing? Right. And we do have some pretty successful real estate agents in town. They're here for decades. Everybody knows them. So I said, well, that's not a doable option. Why would I do that? And then in the local newspaper, the Rocky Mountain Outlook, and an advertising showed up in the real estate section, and it had a round sign. I said, well, what's that? Property Guys. I've never heard of it. I had no idea. And they were looking for a general manager at the time. So I said, well, that's interesting. And real estate condominium management is kind of a 9-to-5 job plus board meetings in evenings. So on salary, that's actually not my thing. So I said, well, let's apply for this job. This sounds interesting. So I applied for the job. I didn't get the job, funny enough. And but the gentleman, a friend of mine, he got the job. So we stayed in touch with him and see how it goes. So he got it and he did it. He had a wrap car driving around. We speak the same mother language, so it's a good friend of mine.
Fellow German, correct?
No, fellow Swiss guy. Actually.
Oh, Swiss guy, okay. Yeah.
Yes, Armin. And so that's how I was introduced to propertyguys.com. And that was kind of the beginning of seeing, there's a different way of doing real estate instead of I call it the traditional or outdated way of doing real estate.
So you obviously, with the real estate itch, you thought this is something different. I can be in real estate, a game I love, but not be in a Me Too business. So you didn't get the job, but you got the franchise. How'd that happen?
Well, that happened basically a year later. Funny enough, same newspaper, same advertising, round sign. And instead of saying we are looking for a general manager, now it says franchise for sale. I said, oh, well, that's interesting. And so I said to my friend, hey, you should be the right person to buy it, right? Because you're general manager running the show for a year. But he wasn't in a position. He didn't want to proceed. Okay, that's fine. So I said, okay, well, let's get in touch with these people if they are willing to sell to find a deal. And we were in a lucky position at the time. So we purchased it, and that's now 10 years ago. All the rest is history.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I know. So that's how we have become the franchise owner.
I know Birgit plays a big role in your business, and she's been in and out initially early on, and something I know that today she's right in 2 feet. In fact, she's a licensed agent, part of the license, part of your services that you offer locally to your customers. Was that always the intention of working closely with her, bringing her into the business? You both have similar backgrounds growing up as far as education. Is this something that you guys had planned to make this happen, or was it just something that organically happened over time?
Well, right from the beginning, since we started out of school, this is something we did all the time, actually. So I was basically the CEO of the company doing everything, and she was doing it with the kids part-time. So we are used to working and living together, and that's what we love to do. We have a kind of, okay, I have my strength and she has her strength. So that's good. It's divided up. She does her thing, I'm doing my thing. It's kind of a natural thing, living and working together. I know it's not working for some people. For us, it's working just perfectly fine. And this is a prime example. If you know better than I, if you look nationwide, a lot of our fellow franchisees is a husband and wife team, and this is a prime example for a business for a husband and wife team. It works just awesome in my opinion, in my experience. You've seen it. So this is how we do it, and we see this licensed service as an add-on service. Our business is called propertyguys.com. Yes, we can offer licensed service, and we have divided it up. I'm the Property Guys franchisee, that's my head, and Birgit is offering licensed service. So it's just a perfect fit.
Having that dynamic duo is vital for your success, and we look at our top performers, that's what we see, right? Some really good teams.
Well, yeah, as you see in the West or in other parts of the country, as a husband and wife team, that it's the ideal scenario. It's a lot if you put it all on one person, offering propertyguys.com service plus license service, showing properties, driving around, doing all the stuff, doing all the offers, negotiating, blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot for one person if you want to be successful.
Right.
And if you add on license service to the same person, it's, in my opinion, it's too much. That's why we have divided it up. Or you need to hire someone to offer everything successfully to your clients. So it's a prime husband and wife team.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, and any entrepreneur will tell you this, that they're only as strong as the support they have at home. So whether your spouse is involved in business like yours is day to day, or supporting that day to day, it's vital. Because when the business itself becomes a third wheel, that becomes a problem. So,
yes, of course. You need all the support you can have from home to run this as an entrepreneur. Yeah.
So we talked earlier about your 10-year anniversary coming up, and you're going to come to Moncton. We're going to make a big to-do of it for sure. Looking forward to hosting you. We're going to have a nice PGU around it. We're going to have a big day for you. But it's not your first visit back to Moncton, back to home office. Prior to your training, you came here to Moncton to be trained, and you went to PGU, our propertyguys.com university. But you try to make an effort to come back every year. Why is that?
That's a good question. We do it because we believe in connecting with our fellow franchisees, neighbors. So when we travel, we reach out to that person. Hey, I'm coming to Lethbridge. Can we meet up for coffee? I'm coming to Cranbrook. Can we meet up for coffee? Can we stay overnight? Can I attend a meeting with you? I want to learn from you. I may share my thoughts as well. So, and that's the same from our end. We are trying to have a good relationship with our fellow franchisees and with home office as well. And one job is home office is coming to our area. We are doing We are doing regional meetings. That's fine. That's once a year. And my job is to reach out to home office and say, hey, I'm coming to your area. We have a reason, celebration, 700 and something properties sold, 10 years in business. We would like to come out. There's new people at home office. There's new programs. There's new services. And keep the connection going. Why would I have a bad relationship with my franchisor? There's no reason. We are married, kind of, on a business level. So we are trying to keep an open relationship, and that's why we come. And I've just realized it's more than 2 years that we haven't come, but I believe there was COVID.
Well, you think how COVID kind of stopped some travel for all of us for a bit, right?
But I think it's the 6th time we're coming back to Moncton. So yes, we do it as often as we can, a couple of days, flying out, and
So it's not just Moncton. I mean, like I said, you travel throughout the West and you visit other franchise locations. I assume those visits have changed. I mean, obviously early on they were more for you gathering information. How do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this? Right? I remember you come to Moncton, you sat with Matt Weir, went to an info point with him. I think now you can probably add some guidance and sitting with new franchisees. And so I imagine those visits have changed over the year, and it's both a give and take now. It's less one way. Yeah.
It has changed, but it's still, I'm learning every time. So I was out in the Kootenays 2 weeks ago, so I learned something, just little things. Yep. And my friend, my neighbor, may learn a thing or two from me as well, because we discuss situations. Oh, how would you handle this? And I should try this here as well. So it's always, we flew out to the Yukon, learned how they do business over there. So it's I think it should be mandatory, or it should be encouraged to all people. Get out, meet your neighbor first, right? And then if you're traveling into that area, it's the same when we meet up in person in Mexico or for our national conference, peer-to-peer. That's the best thing to learn what other people do. Why are you that successful? What do you do, basically?
Yeah, exactly. You talked about relationship with home office and coming here and and building that rapport, and obviously corporately our structure changed on leadership and different department stuff, so you get to meet those people you deal with every day face to face. That's vital. Probably some of the reason why you visit some of these other franchisees. How do you manage that relationship, especially when I look as a franchisor with a franchisee? I think we have a very special relationship, you and I, as partners. We have the same end goal in mind. I want you to do well. Obviously, you want us to do well. Why do you think that's such a challenge, and not just our brand, but any franchise brand? That franchisee franchisor relationship, it seems like in a lot of systems, including ours, there's always seemed to be they're out to get us, vice versa, or they're not doing what we expect to do. How do you manage that in West? I know that when the West are different than the East and different than Central, and I know you have some really good, solid leaders, some top performers, high-profile franchise owners. The mindset needs to be, we are one, we're stronger together. Why do you see? How do you manage that relationship?
Well, it's tough. It's a challenge. From what I see is we're sitting in the same boat. That's what it is. We are all going in this direction. But if there's only 2 people going in this direction, well, that's easy. That's my wife and me. That's my business. Yep. Right? Now let's add 2 other people. Now it's 4 people. Oh, I want to go this way. I want to go this way. So now we are talking about 100 people. Oh, we have 100 opinions. Oh, we should do this. Here's a great idea. This is what we should do. I believe they all want the best for our system. They all love it. However, they have different opinions which way we should go, or they want to go, because their market is different, their clients are different, blah, blah, blah. But they all love it. I have not heard people saying, oh, I hate it. No, that's not the point. And I believe that's the same for any franchise system. They love it, but they have different opinions. And looking from my point of view in my little bubble here in Alberta is probably different than looking from your point of view. You're looking at all of Canada. What's the best for all of the franchisees? Right. So it's sometimes challenging for me to say, well, I don't like that idea, what Ken just did, because it doesn't support me. But if I'm looking at all of Canada, maybe it's not that bad. So that's the challenge we all have, sitting in the same boat, moving in the right direction or in the same direction. So we are getting distracted all the time by all of us, because there's different people, different opinions, great opinions, and some not so good ones.
Yeah, no, that's fair, and you're so right. I mean, the sooner that we all understand that ultimately we have this destination that we want to end at, and we're going to take the path of the greater good to get there, then we can all start rowing, if that's the boat we use, but all start rowing in the same direction. So I get it, you get it. Why do you think others don't? Is it because it's more of a selfish, that is not the best route for me, and I don't care if we get to the end destination, it's more about the local destination? Or is it because I just don't agree on the vehicle to get there?
It's multiple things, I would say. It's a lot about people saying, "Oh, that doesn't work in my market. My clients are different," which may be right, maybe not. If you look nationwide, it's all the same. So our service is the same, should be the same nationwide. So yes, I have clients on this end and on this end, so it's difficult to handle all these expectations. At the end of the day, I believe everybody, all of us, you, myself, all the other franchisees, invested into the same system, into the same boat. So we should all move into the same direction. Even we need a bigger canal to move it through.
Right.
So to speak.
Yeah, that has been, I guess, any franchise system's challenge. It's right. You have a large enough system.
Let me give you an example, Ken. So I had a conversation with a person who wanted to list the house, and he's a franchise owner for a retail store. So I asked him about his relationship and his fellow franchisees, because there's another store in the next town, and he said, "You know what? I don't care about home office. I don't talk to my fellow franchisees. I delete all the emails. I'm just doing my business." End of the story. So it was interesting for me. Our relationship is different. I feel it should be different, but this gentleman said, "No, I don't want to talk to the other franchise owners. I'm not going to events. I'm not looking at emails. I'm not talking to home office. I pay my bills, and that's it. Leave me alone." So successful person, but that's how he saw his relationship. Not my thing, but I'm just.
Well, you and I have both seen that movie, and guess what? The ship moves on, and someone's left behind, right?
Yeah, he's missing the boat. Yes.
Yeah, that's eventually what will happen.
But that's what he said about his relationship to fellow franchisees and corporate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate for that individual, and again, no system is immune to that type of mindset. Let's talk about the leaderboard. I know it's something you watch diligently. You're on it. Is that just your personality type? Does that come from way back when, as a young 16-year-old, always wanted to be at the top of the leaderboard? Where's that come from?
Well, that comes from the little competition we have nationwide. So I can tell you, most other people are checking the leaderboard on a not on a daily, but on a weekly basis to see where they are. And our saying is West is best. So if you look today, there's 4 people from the West on the top 4 spots. So that's good.
Can't argue with numbers, right?
At the end of the day, that's what it is. So no, it's we run our business the way we do it, and other people do the same. But there's still this little competition going on. I want to beat you in listings or in revenue, or it's a little of competition, and we like it that way.
Okay. So A-type personality, competitive, gene in you for sure. Love it. I think that's important in business, especially as an entrepreneur. What else motivates you?
What motivates me is, let's go back 10 years. Why did we buy this business? Is because I still believe real estate is broken the way we do it. And finally, it's getting out there. There's a lawsuit. So it is coming from our country. If you look from Europe, nobody's using a real estate agent, right? That's unusual if people would. So 95% of houses are sold without a realtor, not paying any commissions, zero, none. So why would you do that in North America? Why? Because it's a system. It's your parents have done it. It's there for 100 years, and my goal is try to change that system. I believe our system of a flat fee, providing a service, and the cost is based on the service and not on the selling price. Why would I charge more if the house is worth double? My time is exactly the same. My costs are the same. So I believe the flat fee structure is exactly what it should be. And I'm looking forward every day to helping more people to keep as much money in their pocket, or to make more money when they sell, or get money back if we can help them through Birgit to buy a new house and get $5,000 or $10,000 back in their pocket. So that gets me up in the morning, and
yeah. Well, you fight the same fight I do, and like I said, I'm looking forward to the day, and you're definitely doing your part, Christoph, in getting North America climatized into the European way of doing real estate. We believe it's been broken way back 25 years ago when we started this company. So
it's way too long. It's way too long.
It's just well due. Yeah.
There's way too much money involved. It's just a money grab. It's unbelievable what's going on. Yep. And when I see listed for 1 day sold, I said, "Oh my God, you poor clients! Really?" I couldn't sleep well if I would have charged this client $80,000. I couldn't. I can't do it. Yep. I mean, really? What's the value? What's the added value when you use that person or you use a system like ours? So it's well, I think this is a no-brainer business, by the way. So
I mean, this is my opinion. Of course, it's biased, but I think a lot of the Canadian housing crisis, the interest rates, all the above right now, this is one of the leading causes towards the situation we're in today. Now, let's talk about your actual sales pitch.
My spiel is basically, okay, are you planning to sell your house? Do you want to spend $50,000 or $5,000? And then they look at me and say, what do you mean? Well, it will sell, right?
Yep.
So the question is, how much money do you want to keep in your pocket or make when it sells? Well, what's the catch? Well, there is no catch. Yeah, so they're most likely speechless. They don't know how to respond. Because that's basically what it is.
That's a stupid question. Of course, I want to spend 5, not 50, right?
Well, and then I show him. I have a map and I have a booklet of 700 properties sold. Well, why would you not do it, right? Oh, I can try it. No. If you want to try it, you go elsewhere. Go and try. But if you're serious about selling, I'm serious about helping you. And my goal is for you to get as much money as possible in the time frame you want. You pick and choose how quickly it will sell. Not me, it's not you, it's the buyer, how much they're willing to give you. I will do all the marketing and exposure, and then your property will sell.
So you go right to the heart of the broken part of real estate, which is the costs associated with it, and you say, I've got a solution for you.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I'm pretty German. It's black and white.
Don't beat around the bush. Yep.
No, and that's what it is, Ken.
Yep. As you know, Property Guys was built on guerrilla marketing. Back in the day, we started with $100 and a good idea and we were just university students. So we had to get super creative in marketing. So we did sampling, we did all the above. You definitely have taken a page right out of our book in regards of local marketing. You've tried a number of different things. Is there anything that you enjoy more, that's more successful? What feeds the top of your funnel? Has that pivot any in the last 4 or 5 years?
Good question. If you are a new franchisee, I would answer the question like, okay, it's not the one thing, it's everything combined. Right. So we do have very successful franchisees. They do not have a Google My Business page. We have franchisees, they don't do Facebook marketing. We do have franchisees, they don't do radio advertisement, or I do a lot of mail outs, postcards, so to speak. Still in paper. We do have a lot of franchisees. They don't do door knocking or door hangers. So it's, in my opinion, in my experience, it's a combination of everything, or signage, right? I mean, signage. If you ask 100 people, you will hear number one reason to call is, oh, I saw your sign. So right. Signs. but there's a lot of people they do this, but they don't do that. And maybe this is successful in your area, maybe this is not. So for a new franchisee, I would say you try this, see how it goes, and then you try something else, see how that goes. So for my area, for example, radio ads in Golden worked really well. Small town. It's really cheap to do the radio advertisements. There's only one radio station, so that's all advantage to me. If you do radio ads in Calgary, I would be very careful. 1.5 million people, 50 radio stations, expensive. And probably really expensive. So you need to find out. In High River, people are still reading the newspaper. How did you know? Well,
what's that? A newspaper?
What's that? Exactly. One thing we have been successful, I can say that, is basically the idea when we sat down a number of years ago in Banff, how can I duplicate what I do one-on-one with clients, educating them about our service? How can I duplicate that? So the idea was invented to say, okay, I'll invite more than one person to the room. We call it a seminar or home seller event.
Home selling seminar, yeah.
And said, okay, I'll invite 20 people to the room, and I can basically do my same spiel with these people, answer questions. So in the same time frame of an hour or two, I have educated 20, 30 people. That's a lot. So we've done, I think, about over 50 of those events. Marketing, hey, you come in, I'm booking a room in a hotel. And we had up to 50 people showing up in one event. So I'm educating 50 people, and you get some interesting questions. You have realtors coming too, so they are talking. It's very interesting. Probably not a good idea for a newbie to do it, but if you have some experience, you should do it. We had events planned. Nobody showed up. It's part of the business. Happens. So there's some costs involved, planning involved, follow-up is involved. But we did some great business out of those events. People who have been educated. I got a call from someone last week saying, oh, I was at your event. I can't remember when. And then I looked in my system. Oh, it was 4 years ago. 4 years. Well, I wasn't ready at the time, but I liked it. And can you give me an update? I forgot half of it. Okay, can you come? Sure, I'll come tomorrow. Let's talk. And that's what I did. So these events went really well. Yes.
Yeah, I love those events too. Like you said, there's 20 or 30 or 50 people at your best event. Not only are those 50 people being educated on what you do, but they're going home and telling their friends and family. So that multiplier, word of mouth, especially in a small community, just pays dividends for you ongoing, right? So
exactly. Yeah. And that's basically what happens today in our area, in our center of influence. I would say we are getting the majority of business from either people who have already listed and sold with us, moved to a different town. Oh, now 5 years later, we want to sell again. They call me back again. Oh, yeah, same story. Oh, la, la. Or their neighbor sold, right? So they saw the sold sign, sold celebration. They may got a lolly, right? We are doing
chocolate
lollies, right? So it's basically you're well known in your community, getting more referrals and business from that way. So if I get a request and I see we have 20 people in common, friends, out of the 10, there's probably 5 they have listed and sold with us. So that's an easy sell for me. Yeah, so that's where we get the majority. It's basically referral business.
So in the last 10 years, and I'll wrap this up quickly. I know we're getting close to our end of our time here, but in the last 10 years, Christoph, you've seen our company evolve a fair amount. From 10 years ago when you came in to strictly, you were around for not the rebrand, but definitely the Joe Schmo days when we were anti-agent, really kind of went hardcore against them. Even though our latest campaign is avoid unfair commissions, we still stand strong for, private sale and obviously promoting that side of the business, but we're all about pro-choice. And if the consumer wants licensed services, you're willing to offer that. Outside of that evolution of PropertyGuys.com, what has been the biggest change that you experienced or felt in the last 10 years here?
Well, that's all what you just discussed is basically changing. However, we are still cost control choice, a smarter way to sell, avoid any high commission. Um, I think that's the biggest change, and now offering licensed services as a combination. All of this, that's the change what we've seen in the last 10 years. Plus, being recognized as an I would call veteran business in the area. So it's not a home-based business. You do it for half a year and then you move on. That's not the case. I'm here. I'm not going away. I'm still doing it. My friend's the agent. I don't care. Like we do it. We do it better than you. Our service is better. So that's our offer to the consumer.
All right, I'm going to end the podcast with one final, section. We call it this or that. Okay, I'm going to test some of your Canadian knowledge because there is some Canadian kind of terms in here, but anything. But I'm going to test that. Okay. So it's pretty simple. I'm just going to say two things. You have to pick one or the other. Whatever first comes to mind. All right, sound good? All right, ready to roll? Vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
Okay. Phone call or text message?
Text message.
Okay. Winning the lottery or finding your soulmate?
Finding your soulmate.
Good answer. Stay late to get it done or get up early next morning to get it done?
Oh, that's easy. Stay late.
Man after my own heart. Would you rather watch sports or play sports?
Nowadays, watch sports.
Messy desk or clean desk?
Messy desk.
Okay. Arrive early to a meeting. I know the answer to this one already. Or arrive late. I know that answer. You don't have to even answer that one. Beach or pool? Beach or pool?
Pool.
All right. Books or movies?
Books.
All right. And the last one, my favorite one, the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Montreal Canadiens?
Leafs.
Attaboy. Good answer. Good answer. Thank you, Christoph. I'm looking forward to sharing this across our network and other franchisees and even potential franchisees. And even hopefully this is a nice little tool that you can take and use on your own locally so people of Canmore and your region can get to know you a little better, because you are one heck of a stand-up guy. You've got an amazing team with Birgit. And I just think that you are still the best kept secret in Canmore. And it can't be a secret anymore, okay?
No.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for your time.